There are two types of options. You have puts and you have calls, and you can do two things with options. You can buy them and you can sell them. In Rule 1, we typically are selling options. And for, let's say, a put option, when we sell a put option, we're obligating ourselves to buy somebody else's stock. A strategy that we would use in Rule 1 is to find a wonderful company that we already want to own and know what price we want to own it at, and then we would sell a put option at that price, which obligates us to buy shares if the stock drops to that price. Now, regardless of if the stock drops to that price or not, for taking on that obligation, we get paid upfront by the other party in the transaction. This is a way that we can generate returns in our portfolio without actually taking ownership of a stock. Another option strategy that we use in Rule 1 is called a Rule 1 call. If we own a stock that we want to sell, we can obligate ourselves to sell that stock if the price goes up by selling a Rule 1 call. Regardless if the stock goes up or doesn't go up, when we obligate ourselves to sell our shares at a higher price, we get paid upfront from the other party. And so those are two strategies that you can use that are foundational to finding a wonderful company where you can make a return regardless of what is happening with the stock price, or in some cases even owning the stock. I'll give you all like a really quick example. So at the beginning of July, the Activision Blizzard, which is the maker of the video game Call of Duty, Microsoft's trying to buy that company. Lena Khan and the FTC is basically trying to shut that down. And from a precedent in merger law, the FTC had absolutely no case. It's like it wasn't foreclosing competition, it wasn't reducing access to consumers, and it wasn't increasing prices. It was doing the opposite of all those things. And I listened to the hearings on that when they were happening, like the actual court case, and I could tell from the judge that she was very skeptical of the FTC's position in the closing arguments, and that she was going to make her decision the next week. And the deadline for the deal was in about 10 days on the closing day of that hearing. The stock price before she made her decision was at around like $82. And the deal closing was at about $95. So there was about $15 of upside. And like one really safe play is just to buy the stock, and the deal closes and you make the 82 up to, which we did in a big way. We've been invested in Activision for a long time. But because there was a time window now that we knew some action was going to happen, and we had a really confident idea of what action was going to happen, we did a non-Rule 1 strategy. We bought a call option, which you pay money up front to take on or have the right to buy the stock if it goes up. And the result of that is that for a 2-week long call option, we were able to pay about 50 cents per share, and we got paid back about $2.50 per share. So it was a 5x return in 2 weeks. And it's like, because we had a lot of confidence in this, we understood Activision, it's like we did this on a really big piece of the portfolio. Understanding what an option is and having, like, this was like the stars aligned, and Lena Khan just like put a company that I understood really well right in front of me. And it's like, this will probably never happen again in this scenario. But just by at least understanding the mechanics of option, I was like, wow, it's like I can pay 50 cents for this. And if what I think is going to happen happens, this is going to be worth $2.50. And it's like, obviously they get used by like the Reddit crowd and the Wall Street Bets crowd as gambling. It's just put a little money out and get, a huge return if you're right. But that's exactly what you do when you go to, Vegas and play the games too. Typically, like how Rule 1 does options is we try to be the casino. It's like we're basically putting like probabilities and odds in our favor by finding wonderful companies on sale. We're putting ourselves in no-lose situations, and then we're collecting money just like a casino does over and over and over again.